Welcome back, everyone. I'm absolutely thrilled you're joining me for today's explainer because we're tackling what is honestly the million-dollar question for the modern professional. How on earth do you actually find peace when your calendar is just a solid wall of back-to-back meetings and your inbox is overflowing before you've even had your first sip of coffee? Right? We all know that feeling. You're completely swamped just running on that endless corporate hamster wheel. But today, we're going to explore a highly practical framework we found that helps you maintain your center and find a real sense of connection right in the middle of a chaotic work week. And honestly, the best part is you do not need to book a month-long silent retreat in the woods to pull this off. Okay, let's dive right into this. To get you there, we've got a step-by-step roadmap for your entire workday, broken down into 5 phases. First, the new spiritual paradigm. Second, anchoring your morning routine. Third, surviving midday meeting chaos. Fourth, reframing difficult corporate relationships. And finally, number 5, the end-of-day release. All right, part 1, the new spiritual paradigm. We're redefining workplace presence here. Look, I want to start by just acknowledging the very real burnout that so many of us face out there. It is literally exhausting. But the fundamental shift we have to make, it actually isn't about magically clearing our schedules. The reality is, when your week is absolute chaos, you don't actually need more time. You just need more presence. And to redefine that presence, we kind of have to look at the word spiritual completely differently. We are not talking about meditation cushions or burning incense at your desk here. In this specific context, spiritual simply means the intentional gap between a stimulus and your response. It's highly practical intentionality. It's really all about how you react when that urgent all-caps email suddenly lands in your inbox. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference in how we need to approach things now. The old paradigm? Well, it tells us that spirituality requires a literal mountaintop and an hour of complete, uninterrupted silence. But seriously, who has time for that on a Tuesday morning? The new paradigm, the one that actually works in a crazy week, shows that spirituality is simply the container in which you do your work. It's not an escape from your job. It's driven by these tiny, micro moments of presence that you integrate right into your everyday tasks. Moving on to part 2, anchoring your morning routine. This is all about setting the tone for the day. You know, the way you start your morning is incredibly powerful. It literally sets the neurological tone for the next 8, 9, or even 10 hours of your life. If you start out frantic, you are absolutely going to stay frantic. So let's look at how this builds throughout your day. Notice the progression here. We have morning grounding, leading into a lunch sanctuary, and finally wrapping up with an evening release. These are what the framework calls Sabbath micro-practices, and they're just sprinkled throughout your day. This proves you absolutely do not need massive blocks of free time to find some peace. It's simply about ordinary moments injected with a really high quality of attention. Let me give you a quick example of just how fast this can be. It's called the doorway pause. So before you walk into the office, or even before you open your laptop at home, I want you to place your hand on the doorknob or on your computer mouse. Now just stop. Take one single conscious breath and say silently to yourself, I'm about to engage with the world, but I am not of the world's chaos. That is a 3-second ritual, but those 3 seconds completely reset your nervous system right before you expose yourself to the heavy demands of the day. Now, once you've actually opened that laptop, we hit a massive boundary, the first 5 minutes rule. And the very first rule here is huge. Do not check your email. I mean it. The framework strongly advises waiting before you fire up Outlook or Slack. Instead, spend those first 5 precious minutes just drinking your water or your coffee, maybe look out a window, and ask yourself, what is my deepest intention today? Totally beyond my to-do list. Maybe your intention is to genuinely connect with your colleagues, or maybe it's just to be a calm anchor in the storm. Whatever it is, anchor that feeling deeply in your chest before you let the rest of the world's priorities flood your screen. All right, part 3, surviving midday meeting chaos. Time to reclaim your time and attention. Let's be real. Once 10 a.m. hits, the day usually shifts into overdrive. You're suddenly jumping from one Zoom call to the next, closing one tab, opening 3 more, answering a ping on your phone, just frantically trying to keep your head above water. It is a massive killer of our spiritual connection. We have to take that frantic switching and turn it into intentional bridging. The 60-second bridge is your go-to tool for this. Between those back-to-back meetings, just close your eyes for exactly 60 seconds. Put both feet completely flat on the floor. Actually feel your sit bones in the chair. This physical sensation forces you out of your racing, anxious head and drops you right back into your body. That way, when the next meeting starts, you actually arrive fresh, instead of dragging all that heavy, stressful baggage from the last meeting into the new one. And what about all those notifications? The pings, the buzzes, the bells? Well, instead of resenting them, we can actually use them as a cue for one conscious breath. Let's literally do this right now. Take a deep inhale through your nose and a nice long exhale through your mouth. Going forward, every single time your phone buzzes, don't immediately dive for it. Take that micro breath first. You are literally retraining your brain to know that you are the one in charge, not the device. Those notification bells suddenly become spiritual cues instead of stress triggers. How cool is that? By the time we're halfway through the day, we reach what's called the lunch liturgy. And I know it's incredibly tempting, but eating at your desk while scrolling through endless spreadsheets is a total spiritual vacuum. You need 10 minutes strictly screen-free. Take your very first 3 bites in absolute complete silence. Chew slowly. Actually taste the food you're eating. This specific practice is a powerful act of grounding that completely breaks the dissociative trance of your busy morning and brings you safely back to your physical self. Section 4. Reframing difficult corporate relationships, shifting from victim to witness. Now, what's really interesting about this next part is that it introduces what is undeniably the hardest, yet most incredibly potent practice of your entire day. It directly addresses the biggest pain point in literally any career: other people. Right? So how do we handle aggressive stakeholders, demanding bosses, or those lovely passive-aggressive colleagues without completely losing our peace and snapping? Because we have all been in the trenches with a difficult coworker where our heart rate suddenly spikes and our peace just completely vanishes out the window. The secret we found in the source material is a total mental reframe. When you inevitably face that difficult person, I want you to silently tell yourself this: this person is here to teach me patience, grace, and boundaries today. And then, here's the kicker. Instead of reacting defensively, silently wish them well by saying, "May you find ease." This internal mantra is so incredibly powerful. It shifts your energy entirely. You are no longer a victim reacting to their bad behavior. You suddenly become an objective witness to it. And that instantly preserves your spiritual connection and keeps you super grounded. Finally, Section 5, the end of day release, washing off the corporate residue. Just as we intentionally open the day, we absolutely must intentionally close it to wash off that lingering spreadsheet stress. There are 2 essential boundaries here to protect your personal evening energy. First up is the commute cleansing. Whether you're driving an hour home or literally just walking from your home office to the kitchen, use silence or instrumental music. Notice the sky, look at the trees. It acts as a psychic shower to just wash off all that corporate residue. Second is the mental download. Before you even think about shutting your laptop, do a rapid 2-minute brain dump. Write down 3 wins and 1 lesson from the day. This really simple action firmly signals to your nervous system that the workday is officially over. And to truly seal the day as you physically close your laptop, I highly encourage you to say this out loud: I am done for today. I release what is unresolved. Do not underestimate the power of a ritual closure, guys. It frees your spirit to actually be present with your family, your friends, and your actual personal life. So the crucial point is captured right here in this ultimate equation: slow breath plus fast action equals the corporate mystic. This is such a brilliant aha moment from the explainer material. You see, you do not find spiritual connection during a busy week, you bring it with you. The more stressed you are, the more you need to slow your breath, not your pace. True spirituality emerges from the quality of your attention, not the sheer quantity of your time. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, totally provocative thought to help you instantly apply this framework. You don't have to wait for tomorrow morning to start this. Ask yourself right now, what is your deepest intention for the very next email you sent? Take a conscious breath, set that intention, and go be the calm anchor in your workday. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this vital topic, and I will see you in the next one.